Well, I've been thinking a lot about humanity. I'm in my house, and usually I don't do these things in the house, but the humanity is in a mess. And there are too many people. But that doesn't mean that someone has the right to harm us, maim us, poison us from the sky. They don't have this right to do this to us. That being said, people who think that we don't have massive amounts of humans are blinded. And yes, there is open space. But does that mean every bit of the open space has to be filled with humans? Does that make sense to anyone? That every square foot of earth needs... And then what kind of life? Already we're tense and nervous. We can't go around other people. We don't know them. They're not our family. They're not our friends. They've got everybody afraid of each other with their stupid false flags and their fakery and their news. People love that news, and if I put it on, I instantly get a headache because I know it's lies and contrived bullshit. But to say that there's not too many people is also blind. And it's also men have a problem. I know a good man does not do the things that some of these men have done. You don't have 10 children today. Unless you're extremely wealthy and you can afford that, well then you have 10 kids. But most people aren't extremely wealthy. And they use their children to manipulate the systems. That's not all of them. But most of them are. You have 5 children and you only make even $50,000 a year, and that's all that comes in. That's your gross. So that means that you're only bringing $30,000, $35,000. Then you're manipulating the system. You have to have food stamps. You have to have this. You have to have that. And maybe if you make even less, then you have to get your children on lunch programs, and you have to do this instead of buying a good amount of hot cereal and feeding your child before they go to school. With your food stamps, you're getting a free lunch. I'm sorry, I took an aspirin. Oh, aspirin, none of them are made in the U.S. Every aspirin on the planet is made in a foreign country other than our own country. And if you're in that other country, well, that's good because, you know, it's your country that's making the product. There's nothing wrong with it. But just it's depressing. It's depressing to see how that men have not risen above to their thinking in the brain, and they're still thinking with the head of their penises. And then you have the women. I'm not just saying men, but men have more control over it than women. If you controlled your own head of your penis, then you wouldn't have to worry if the woman was doing the right thing or not. You take care of yourself. We all have to take care of our own personal business, our own bodies. Then they can't force their ways on us. Too many people means too little control over ourselves. They think they can control everything because there's too many of us. And if we start taking better care of our bodies and better care of our minds, and that goes forever. I'm not saying just white people or native people or British or no white people, just all human race. That's the Muslims, the Arabs, the Jews, the blacks, everywhere. People are having children. They don't even know what real love is. They don't even have real love for their own flesh and blood. And that's why we're in a mess. We're in a mess. The planet is overcrowded with us. We're like fleas on the dog's back, and the dog is the earth. And yes, there is sometime, it's like naturally Earth will try to shake us, but they're shaking us off. They don't want us now. They push to have us have tons of children, and then we do, and we follow all their rules and their bullshit, and then here we are. Too many people. And it won't happen. We can't get out of it fast. They can't make us get out of this fast. It's not a fast serve. We work backwards out of having too many children. Doesn't mean that some people can't have 5 or 6 children, but it means that others can't have any. And know that they don't want them. And just say, wow, I don't want any kids. There's too many kids. And that everybody go, yeah, you're doing the right thing. That's the right thing to do. And share these things with each other. We have to reteach ourselves, because obviously they don't give a flying fuck about us. And they haven't really taught us anything worth being taught. So yes, there are too many humans. That is not, no one had to tell me this. All I have to do is open my eyes and look around and see. There's too many humans that said, then they move into the country because they don't like being around the people in the city. So they move to the country. This is how it works. They go out, they don't like those pine trees, so they clear the lot. Those trees didn't matter. There's limited amount of trees, so they clear the trees. And then they put in a lawn. And they got to water the lawn instead of leaving it wild, because wild isn't pretty. Yes, it is. Wild is beautiful. The wild plants are beautiful. The sky is beautiful when it's not loaded with artificial clouds. We don't even know what the sky looks like anymore, because none of it is of nature. It's created. You have to watch a movie called, it's an older movie, with Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep, Bruce Willis, Death Becomes Her. Now in that movie, Isabella Rossellini is making a spell, but it kills the people that take it, but they live forever. See, that's an oxymoron. Alright, they're dead, but they're alive. They're useless human beings. They're crumbling because they can't keep their bodies together. They just keep putting them back together. But in it, they constantly talk about and make so many Illuminati hand signs that it's almost laughable to look back and see how many symbols are thrown up in this movie. But they'd say, fuck nature. Fuck natural law. And they aren't joking. They threw that in there as nobody really paid attention to it in 1998 or whenever that movie came out, 94. I know it's an older movie now. So you go back, you revisit some of those older movies, they'll tell you little goodies in it, you know, and not that we already don't know the goodies, because you see it happening every day. They twist, they give you a little bit of truth, then they twist your mind to suit their needs. You have to untwist your mind. That's the key to it. Untwisting. It's like a knotted telephone, an old telephone cord, or your vacuum wire that always, after you use it all the time and you don't put it away properly, the wire gets all twisted and mangled. Then you have to spend time on twisting it to get to the truth. And that's where we are. We are at the point of knowing. We have to know there are too many people. And we have to work on that. All we do as humans. And that's not just in one area of the world. It's all across the world. These people would say, there's not enough, there's a lot of empty space. Yes, there is. And we have to be able to live with nature. And nature has to survive. There has to be open space. It shouldn't be limited or kept from us. But we also have to limit our numbers. Thank you.